Good. What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. My topic. Let me see. Can y'all see me? My topic today is about the drama. Anything that's associated, affiliated with drama, always links to a narcissist. It links to a narcissist because narcissists feel they need to have attention. They don't care what you're doing. They have no empathy, and they're all about having your full entitled attention. That's where they do the masquerading of color schemes. That's where they do the masquerading of color schemes. That's where they do the slander, to try to get influence on your friends, on your family members. So whatever you're saying and whoever you are, pretty much whatever they're saying and whatever they're trying to say you are is them. They have no empathy. There are different types of narcissists. The malignant narcissist is one of the high-ranking narcissists that's out there, meaning they don't care, and they're saying, don't expose them. You have to expose these kind of people because these people have nothing else to do with their life. You have a plan and a purpose and a will when you serve the Most High, or you're just trying to be on your regular everyday that maybe God hasn't reached you. That no matter what, these narcissists want to be your God. They want you to worship them and idolize them. But at the same time, they're trying to identity swap. They want to be you. And so when you're dealing with people like that, um, you know, never be intimidated by them. Always call them, when you feel, use discernment on them, especially malignant narcissists. Never be the victim here. You know what I mean? And even though, they have their flying monkeys to try to do and say whatever. So, this is nothing that we fear. We always turn to the Most High and know that He's got us. Even Jesus was slandered. He was slandered. Who could hate on a God that good? That made this earth in 6 days and rested on 7. You got to be an evil person. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep on being on my live. The control mechanisms can't control. One thing when you're dealing with these evil spirits, you have to understand what you're dealing with. When this person is around, it's nothing but confusion. That is of a witch spirit, of evil, wanting to constantly get attention from you, be around you, try to be like you, whatever, causing confusion all the time, everywhere they go. Just imagine a day when they don't show up to work or be at a family function, how much smoother things work out. They work out real good. So, for whoever has these issues, when you're serving Christ, you're gonna come across one of them. You're gonna come across one of them. Welcome to everybody in the chat. You're gonna come across one of them, and they're always trying to show you up and out talk you and be loud. Baby, I'm from the hood, so we gonna just be all loud and everything. You know what I mean? Some things that is a better time to ignore them. You know what I mean? In your job, after your job, that's when you deal with them. You know what I mean? When I had my little things going on at the job, and how's it going? Is it laid out? Legend. I can't see with my glasses. Lagged out. You gotta you gotta never be intimidated by people. The narcissist gets off on you're the pawn and misusing people, being the center of attention of your own mother and your father. You know what I mean? That's just crazy. And we're when you do these things, that's how far in the spirit of envy the spirit of envy, constantly over obsession of thinking, how can I get this person? How can I misuse this person, or whatever they're trying to do against you or for you, that they'll use the city, state government, local officials to try to hate on you, to keep you homeless, to try to keep you out of whatever God has for you. And so, when you have these things going on, you don't fear it. You have to fight it. You cannot allow people to just keep walking over you. There's going to be some time when you're going to have this resistance, and you got to fight. Don't do it. We're not never doing any mass shootings. We got to be slow to anger. But we have to remember that whatever it is, it caught their eye. Whoever you were, it caught their eye. If you're saying I'm nothing, I'm a waste away, because that's what they be trying to say. You say I'm a waste away, so why you need me in order to get a check from the state? I must have something to me. And so that's where I say you got to let those demonic spirits, whether they satanic gadgets and devices, clear out your head. Let them clear out your head. You understand? And I'm sorry I got these big glasses on. I've been running around all day. My eyes is like tired. Here come the sun. You know what I mean? So I'm just really trying to be here, and not to say that I don't hate on people. When I say things, I don't sugarcoat it. The Most High is working on me to talk a little bit better to people. Lord knows nobody talk better than me. They just say whatever they think they need to say to me. But it's never gonna go here. You learn to avoid those people if you can. Avoid them. Hey, I'm sorry if I'm not reading the comments because I can't see as well. What's this here, man? When you're dealing with gang stalking, your thing is you have to change your environment, even if it doesn't happen right away, because it won't. Because you have to remember, you don't know how long this person been slandering you, talking about you, and trying to make you feel bad. They can have been working on you for years, and then it just, that person that they're talking to, like, how come every time I come around you, they come around a narcissist, you always talking about this person? That's their ritual, their spirit of bewitchment. They constantly got to say something about you. Those casting spells. That's the casting of the spells that they constantly got to keep trying to get an arrow to stick to the person who they talking to. And when it don't stick, you praying. I do my night prayers at night because those are powerful prayers. And when you're praying at night or whatever time of day you need to do it, when you're shutting down the enemy. I like to do my prayers at night because it sets, I have such a busy day with my targeting. And some people say, that's not targeting. I'm going to go into that. But it keeps me, I have to constantly be going, something that happened, they'll say something that happened with one of my children or something. So here I am running around, sitting here on the phone, waiting, things like that. Or they say, check on employment. I go walking all the way down. So most of my days been different. And so they change it up because I got many people who come here in the agency try to work against me. They might have cleared it up. Sometimes they clear it up and do things differently. When I'm being exposed, they're not liking it. They're not liking the exposure, and it's not something that I'm not liking the targeting. I wouldn't like the targeting, so I don't care about what they don't like. Even if it's some form of a repercussion, you still keep fighting. You're not to be fearful. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm trying to add to people. Like I said, I had got into it. I'm not trying to be tacky over here. I keep it clean over here, purified, Holy Spirit. But, I recently got into it with brainwaves. I don't really think I got into it because I know what was going on. I had other things that I do. Sometimes I'm talking to people when I'm charging my phone. I'm sitting in their business and I'm talking to them. So whatever goes on here all the time, I can't always be. But you know, hey, I ain't mean no disrespect to brother in any way, shape, or form. You know, gang stalking is something that I've been trying to put out there. I've been trying to say something, but I know that you can't say things. There's certain ways that you have to talk to people so they can understand you, so they can help you, or know that they can help you. Because if you're talking in fear, they're not gonna want to help you. They're gonna think you're nuts. You know me. You know I have to take, you know, because of my children, I have to take a psychological test. You know what I mean? And I've already took two. Well, and it just, you know. So um, it's not something I'm afraid of anyway. You know, I'm abiding by the law. You know what I mean? You know, if anything was wrong, you know what I mean? I needed to get it fixed because I'm still trying to have my children. But that's the thing of it. They want to believe something is wrong. It helps them. When you got an enemy that keep coming for you, the more they keep casting these spells and doing these rituals and spirit of bewitchment, you know, that the pride is there. The pride is there. And what happened? Pride comes before the fall, that your enemy's going to fall. They going to fall. They going to fall, and they can't stand it. They can't stand the fact that when you see how my hair was all out, you know, men still was trying to talk to me. Still trying to talk to me. You know what I mean? I don't think that was my best look. I'm still working on it, but you know, it's just the confidence in you that people are attracted to you. They could be that, you know, and I'm not talking about these big glasses, but the confidence in you. Some people are attracted to you. They like you. You have a warm presence and smile, and some people just like that. They like the fact that when they come around you, that you got peace. You have peace in your spirit. And you know, I'm gonna go back to brainwaves. You know, those who know brainwaves, LLC advice. Well, you know, take my advice, bruh. Don't come for me. You know what I'm saying? All right. But you know, I'm not you know, I'm all about getting and removing gang stalking. You know, because it's just really, you got to reroute anyone that you know or you could talk to. That's all you're doing. You know, they may have their guard up. They may have these systematic things that they have to do, but a lot of that is just testing you. Are they really what this person has said they are? Because you have to remember that narcissist is walking around with a badge. You know, there was a video that I put out probably about a month ago that suggests that a lot of times you can rent a badge from an officer. I don't know the price or what have you, but you can rent a badge from an officer just to say that I'm, you know, here. You know, that's how they do it. They show this badge, you know, whatever store you go to or whatever place you go where the public is, they show their badge and say they're so-and-so. Well, that badge has to have their picture. It needs to have their picture and their name in there, and their name, you know. So I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't look at badges, but I'm just saying, just because somebody say something don't mean nothing. Read these badges. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you find people acting strange on you, because they've been saying things against you, and what you do is let them believe. That's your test. Believe what you want to believe. You know, it's on you. If you believe someone that you don't know to tell you something about me, then you're not my friend. You'll never be you're easily manipulated, and I can't have you as a friend. I can't have you as a friend. But if you discern, and you know, if somebody's on your channel and they're trying to misuse you in any way, shape, or form, you know, use discernment. Or if something don't sound right or seem right, you know, don't come on these channels until you have written that person. If you try to have contact with them, you exhausted all your times of trying to contact this person, then now is the time that you can get on and say that you said something. But make sure you told them that you tried to do it, you know, one-on-one. We don't want everything online, but when you can't reach the person like me, So I tried to reach New Breed Global, couldn't reach him. So, even on his own jamboree, couldn't talk to him. And so that's where we just let that be. You know what I mean? We ain't studying nobody. We ain't ragsing no one. And it's a shame because that's a brother. New Breed Global was a brother that was about, for me, he's one of the first or few that was talking about targeting and gang stalking, and now he's a brand new creature. He's a brand new creature to me, and you know, it's okay. I guess when you elevate it up, you turn away from certain things, and I respect that. But my time is very precious. My time is very precious. If you gonna help, you gonna help. You don't want to be bothered. Say you don't want to be bothered. And that's why I say a lot of women be emotional. Can't be emotional with gang stalking. You really have to, turn to the Most High. When everybody else has failed you, that means God is saying, "Come to me. Come to me. Spend some time with me," and then He'll open up doors. He'll bring people around, but you use discernment. Don't be afraid to be by yourself. Right now, people hate on me because I'm by myself, but the thing here is my being by myself, meaning is that I'm confident, that I realize I'm never gonna forget that I'm the only one I gotta look out for. I have children, but I'm the only one I have to look out for. So I can't always, if I got some help yesterday, I can't always expect to get help today from the same person. And that's where you always make sure you stand in the will of the Lord, because God is going to help you. He loves you. He will provide for you, but you got to know how to move. And I'm gonna try to do a teaching on that. I'm not perfect, and I can't always say things because they're always watching. They're always watching, and my enemies are my own family. They're in my own family. They're ex-friends and other colleagues that they'll do anything for a check. You know what I mean? They'll do anything. Some of them I look back and they just did all kinds of wrong things, and they would try to talk me into it. And I know one time years back, somebody tried to intimidate me or make fun of me because they all had children and I never had kids, and they said, "You're gonna be a grandmother when you finally have kids." And I just laughed because I'm saying, so what if I do? You know what I mean? That doesn't make me a grandmother. That make me a mother that was more responsible enough to have kids. You know what I mean? I didn't take it offense, but I'll never forget that this is somebody who's supposed to be my friend, and here they are, kind of take a sneak diss on me because I didn't want to just jump in with some dude and have a baby. You don't want to do that. You want to get to know, everything comes through a covenant. And when you have sex with someone, you're making a covenant with that person. Now, if that person has a spirit of jealous and envy, you're going to be sitting here. It could be either you or your children with the spirit of jealousy and envy. And even if you have these spirits, you can be set free, saved, and delivered. It's not over for you, but you have to confess. You have to say that I have these problems. I am an envious person and a jealous person. Lord, help me. I repent of my ways. God is not upset that you have spirits. These things can come from our parents, our great great grandparents. Who knows where these lineages come from? It's just about correcting them and letting the Most High do it for you, because he's best at it all. And people get upset when I talk about the Most High. They start pointing out my flaws, like why you listen to rap and things like that. And like I said, my rap music, I don't hear it every day. I'm not getting words from it. Please don't think like that. Sometimes it's just when I'm working out, it comes in. Sometimes it's just when all has been done against me, I can hear a song that says, I remember my sister was alive and she did this, or I remember when I went and bought my first car. It just brings back good memories. And I know those are monitored familiar spirits to some people. But, you cover yourself with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And sometimes God lets you have that. He lets you have it when you're going and you're trying to figure out, okay, so how am I going to make it the next 2 weeks? How am I going to, deal with the fact that it's going to be a storm? I've been left in a tornado. I mean, not a tornado, I'm sorry. Hurricane, when I'm sitting here in Atlanta, me and my kids. Right after my car crashed, they left me and my kids. Must Ministries left me and my kids out there in the tornado. We came to get some shoes because I only had like some flip-flops. And I'm saying, give me some shoes. And they said, we don't have anything. I just went all, like, I'm going back here. Because if you're going to leave me in a hurricane, I'm finna see what shoes I can get. You see, you can't let people, and I know, you can't let people just tell you anything. And when I look back there were some shoes back there that fit exactly to my feet. And so what I didn't know was that I could have stayed, me and the kids, but they were being mean to me and my children. And we were sitting here, catching a bus back and forth, to that and the hotel that we were in. And we know we didn't really have the money. You know what I mean? And they had lied. Somebody had helped us stay a little bit longer, gave us the room key and everything. And the hotel people just was like, get out of here. You stole it. Said I stole the key. Knowing they've been sitting there the whole time. And I'm saying, how did I steal it, ma'am? You jumped back here and stole it. So that's something I won't do. I won't do that. Now, I did take the shoes because I'm saying I'm in flip-flops. I'm not getting my toes done. We're in a flood and a storm. So, luckily it wasn't as bad, but it left me and my kids out in the rain in the cold. We had no jackets. We had no jacket. The weather had gotten colder on us. And we didn't have no jacket. No jacket. So, I'm trying to go away to a whole nother city, and they just keep trying to pull on me, this city. And people say, you shouldn't tell that. Well, I'm trying to tell you that's how my targeting was. And you know what I mean? I'm telling people because people need to know that they do things like that. And because they done that, have I become better? No. I become wiser. That even though that storm was supposed to be way worse, I prayed that off, okay? I prayed that off of me and my children. And I realized that, I had no help. And, that's how they try to keep you. But God is awesome. He's awesome. I made it through the storm. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be real bad, okay? And so at first I was upset, but I realized the Most High had helped me in this. He had helped me in this. And, there's an agency. These people that came from my hometown, they sitting there still trying to talk on that thing, knowing it's pouring rain outside. They get off on this. They probably be sitting here in YouTube laying on your channels, trying to get you to get on their side and tell people they crazy, to get this hustle on. And that's why I'm talking about brainwaves. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he with them or whatever, but they know. They know. If I really truly believe he was a true friend, from the day that I met him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. I don't have no animosity, but when things get tough and people don't tell me, I have no other choice but to back away. I back away. And so I back away. I'm not here to be arguing and fighting with people. You're going to hit me up on my cell phone. I'm put my email on there. You know what I mean? Or whatever. If you're really concerned about things. Well, you know what I mean? If you're really concerned about things. And that's just where I'm at. I'm not here. I've been in too many arguments and fights. And, I'm at the brink of where the Most High is trying to help me and overcome and deal with people. I meet all kinds of people in Creed. And, it's not always a sad time for me. Some helping. And you question, why are you helping me? why would you help me? you know, I couldn't find no help 2 weeks ago, and they have an agenda on those things. You know what I mean? They have an agenda on those things, and you know what I mean. The day that I went to the Must Ministries, I want to put that out there. There was somebody that was of importance. They was there, and I don't know what they had told me. It was three people, one woman and two men, and they had like clipboards. So I don't know if they had their little inspection or whatever, but you know, they just was like hi. They didn't seem mad or anything or nothing. So I mean, this is stuff that me and my kids had to go through. You know what I mean? You know, now they took it away from me, you know, and I know God is working things out. You know what I mean? But they have been taken away from me, and you know, I'm still dealing with my son. You know, I don't know, you know, what has happened with him and whatnot, but you know, that's how it is. And you know, you still have to be prayed up. You still have to learn how to love yourself when you're not sure if people love us. You know, when you're not sure. And it's just so many things that I be trying to tell people and try to and let them know that they have a protocol, and that's why you cannot call yourself a targeted individual. I never did, but because whoever was coming down here with that agency that want that $1,000 a day, they kept saying that or whatever it is, because it's something. Ain't nobody gonna be coming down here for nothing, so it's something, okay? Okay, they get paid and they try to hide it. You know what I'm saying? You know, that money could be used on housing me, but they get a grant from somewhere, and I can't tell you all that stuff. You know, they could tell you better than me. They want me, you know, the satanic get you guys and devices. They want me to tell you something, and I'm saying, why you want me to? Are you trying to get off on something? You know why people bring your new breed up all of a sudden? Is he trying to get off on something that he said or didn't say? You know, and so that's where I'm at with these people. You know, they want you to isolate, you know, and break away off your social media of the people that you talk to. You know, that, you know, I'm just saying, what if they said, hey, if I give you $5,000, you know, if I give you $5,000 to stop talking to this person on YouTube, would you do it? They be doing stuff like this. I don't know the exact amount, but these content creators, you know, don't never trust them all. You know, always use the Holy Spirit. I'm not saying be paranoid, but you know, Satan ain't. You know, if he used Peter, he gonna use anybody else. So that doesn't make you insane. Being wise and alert and aware doesn't mean what the Bible said. Be vigilant. So you know, I'm just talking, and you know, a brother's got a problem with me. You know, I don't mind. I'll get on the YouTube streets and have beef. Anybody want to come on here? I don't shy away from things like that. Let me read some of these comments because I can't read with my glasses on. It says, if you had one wish, what would you spend it on? Let's see. If I had one wish, that sounds like that Ray J song. One wish, because I need a lot. One wish. What would I spend it on? I don't know. You know, that's something I gotta really brainstorm about, because I got a lot of wishes. I got a lot of wishes, and if I could be a number one thing, of course, I'm gonna say what everybody else say: money. It'll be money. I mean, but even then, you're not safe, because if the economy crashes, you know what I mean. But you know, if it crashes, you know, years from here, then you know we good. You know, spend that money. I don't know. Nobody ever asked me that, but that's just something that I would That's what I'm lacking right now. I have the good um, peace in my spirit. Here I'm not here to attack nobody. You know what I mean? You know, and I like fellowship, so it's kind of hard. I like people. You know what I mean? I would like to have a good vacation time. I want to say with people. So it's like one or two. Just a good time. It's been a long time since I actually been around regular people and have people that I want to be around and to have a good time and just talk. And that's what I thought the jamboree was going to be about. Here I am trying to figure out, is this person not want me here? Is something wrong with them? Um, hey, you know what I mean? So, I just want to be thankful because I really wish I'm probably going to wait until I see this person who did help me out. And I think it's a blessing, um, you know, that people are good, and even if it's something in between on there that they looked out for me. Like I said, I've been sitting here a few days without my clothes, with the same kind of clothes on. I don't know how to change it up, but because I didn't get my suitcase from the jail, and they're saying, well, you got to come here and get it. And so I'm saying it's not in the same spot where the last time I was in jail. So you know what I mean. So I'm just was waiting um, for an opportunity to get it. I mean, I still had like job interviews and things like that going on, so I couldn't just leave. Yeah, I gotta go on job interview smelling like Dior and you still got to take care of yourself. That's what I keep saying about homeless people. You have to still take care of yourself. You know, um, it's unfortunate, but people see you for who you are. When they see you and you're looking dirty and tired, you got to take care of yourself because that's how they see you. You come into a restaurant and you're trying to eat, and you come in here, you smell like it's not good for the business. So you have to respect that. You know, go. Some of you don't have none of this going on. Now get your butt down there to a homeless shelter and wash up. You know what I mean? Go to some of these places, and I don't mean say, you know, sometimes talk to people. You know what I mean? Um, you know, they didn't want me in some of these places, so I did things like get a membership. Get a membership. If you can scrape up a few dollars, some of you can get them free. I mean, I don't know where you can, but me, I'm a little on the, you know, up class. So I used to work at a fitness center, so I moved forward and did a whole nother membership just because I've been there too long, and just things that I seen in the fitness thing wasn't right, like certain things like not cleaning the showers, like what I mean. So you have to kind of report things. Sometimes I do reviews, and sometimes because I try to get the understanding, I'll hold back on them. I'll hold back on them because I'm not sure what's going on here. Did somebody quit? Y'all about to close? What's going on? So let's see what's going on here. It says, Logan Bear, you can sing happy birthday. It's my birthday. Um, no, I can't. I'm sorry, but I appreciate it's your birthday. But I hope you have a happy, blessed birthday. You know what I mean? I had just eaten, so I don't really want to be, you know, I'm kind of shy when it comes to doing that. That's where I have to have that mood when I do it. I'm not shy, but I know I don't want to do it. Happy birthday. I mean, I could just get Whitney Houston. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not Whitney Houston or nobody. You know what I mean? Take my Braxton or one of those people. You know. Yeah. Well, when you're singing, Because, I'm on here and people look for any little dig on me. So, usually you see that? So you usually have a clear passage, when you're getting ready to sing, or else it's going like, happy birthday to you. You don't want that. So, but happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing birthday. May the blessings overflow and overtake you. I'll do that. Can I pray for you? May this year, may from this day forward, that everything that you could wish for and ask for in Yahweh's name be a blessing to you and your family and your friends that's in righteousness. May God keep you. May the shadow of death overpass you and your family and friends, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. That you will become what God has called you to be, and nothing can stop you. That you will exceed and exude with no problems in life. That God will discern everyone. He'll scatter away those who are not friends of yours, and he'll bring those your divine selected that's gonna help you in this walk and appreciate you. You ain't gotta put on no front. You ain't gotta act like nobody else. They just love you for who you are. And I ask these blessings be 100,000-fold upon you and everything you do. And that's where I'm at with that. So blessings, blessings, blessings. Enjoy your birthday. Eat some cake and ice cream for me. I gotta fall back. I ain't falling back yet, but I'm still having my little things. But I got a time where I'm about to, really do some things and changes with my body that I've been through this targeting. I haven't been able to do what I really need to do, and I used to still be a warrior. Oh, okay, whatever. Just drop out of a dime to going and fast. But now I'm kind of. It's kind of tricky because especially when you got somebody that's trying to misuse your birthday or your fast. Like you are a serious witch. Excuse me. You're a serious witch. To try to misuse my fast. My fast ain't got nothing to do. And that's how you don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They're just afraid. They're just afraid. And you're saying you're thanks for subscribing. You're saying thanks. You're saying I don't have what I do between me and the Most High ain't got nothing to do with you. So if you scared, then you might want to go to the Most High for yourself. Go on, go to the Most High and let Him fix you, because I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't worried about it. If somebody do witchcraft, you know what I mean, or whatever. I'm covered with the precious blood of Jesus. I ain't worried about you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't have to be afraid of these. God said that He suffered which not to live. And so when you're dealing with people who slander, because these are trappings of a witch. They're all about confusion. They slander. They like misuse people, manipulate, control, and dominate over people. People just look at the hair and the wart on the nose, and that's not it. No, they could look just like you and me. It's just what's on the inside. That they're always about hanging with people. They can't never do nothing by themselves. They worry. They drive in the car. They gotta have one in front following, one in back. They just have all these things and rituals that they have to do that makes them feel like they're at peace. But the Bible says the wicked gets no peace. You're not getting no peace when you do evil. You reap exactly what you sow. And people get mad at me, but I'm saying, hey, if you took a bribe, from the state, then you bring trouble to your own household. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Your house is going to be troubled. And, that's just how it goes with the Most High. Let's see, what you're saying now? It says, you had one wish. Oh, you said the same thing. Oh, I gotta see it. I'm a believer of Christ. Trust me, I'm a believer of Christ. I got more than one wish. I believe I can ask for more than enough things, not just one thing. But I'll take the money right now. Take the money right now. I mean, you know, most people who do have the money, they're lonely at the top. They ain't got nothing going on. They're saying all the friends that I had, all the family members, and they fight me over this green. And so don't you be like that. Love people. God has more than enough for you. Everything has its timing, and you're gonna have to go through these tests. And when you go through all these things, God will bring back a double portion of whatever you lost to you. So it's just a matter of hanging in there and keep your mouth shut sometimes, and knowing that the Most High, He's got you. I guess kids coming around, so I'm in the mall. I don't know where the kids went to. See, the bouncy chairs. You see, I don't know where the kids went to. But like I said, you know, that's just how it is. I don't care about color schemes and none of that. So it's just a scheme. So anyway, what you doing? What you doing for your birthday? People get upset. They still sitting here trying to talk on satanic education devices. I don't care. I don't care if I'm talking to Satan on here. I'm still gonna do me on my channel. And that's what get the narcissists mad. They have to tell me, you're not doing what we needed you to do. And the satanic education device, I needed you to be upset that people didn't hand you money today. I needed you to be upset that you didn't get this job. I needed you. They got to tell me to be, oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to be? Boo hoo hoo. See, that's how you want to be with these toxic narcissists, man. You want to be like that. Oh, I forgot. I was supposed to cry. Boo hoo hoo. I don't know how many more narcissists they gonna keep sending to me. My numbers jump like the McDonald's hamburgers. You've been served. Yep, the numbers keep flipping on these narcissists. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to be when you're being targeted. I done served a whole nother one, and I ain't even worked at McDonald's yet. Shouts out to McDonald's. Yep, I will work there. You know what I mean? Another one being served. Another narcissist bite the dust. Some of them are dusties. Shout out to my old ex-boyfriends. You a dusty. That's about as close as you get a shout out. You an agent. How you gonna be a drug dealer and now you an agent? That $1,000 a day, boy. A man can't make it on his own. Woo! Woo! They probably sitting in the mall shopping, spend up their little money. I think they got paid yesterday. Did y'all get paid yesterday? Yeah, they be getting they hustle on when it come to me. But I tell you, God's got that. He's gonna cut you off. He's gonna cut you off. So anyway, I just jumped on here a little bit. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you have a happy birthday. I don't know who you is, what you at. May the Most High be with you, even if you are Satan. Enjoy your birthday. I don't know what y'all do. All right, so I'm finna get off here. See you all. Who knows? Is it tonight? Is it an hour or two from now? I don't know. May bless